Everyone, this is Satria and welcome to our channel CodeChef. Today we're going to be solving the problem maximize the sum with a code no match and a difficulty level of simple. Let's get started. Here it's written that we are given an array n, array of n integers a1, a2 up to an, where n is even. This is an important part that people miss out. It is guaranteed that n is even. We are allowed to permute these elements however you want. Say after permuting the elements, you end up with the array a-1, a-2 up to a-n. We are supposed to maximize the sum a-1 minus a-2 plus a-3 minus a-4 plus a-n minus 1 minus a-n. So basically, we are given an array. We are allowed to change the array into any permutation what we want by permuting the elements. By basically permuting the elements means by changing the position of the elements where you have the same elements but you may have a different order. For example, if you have an array containing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is a valid permutation. Why is this valid permutation? Because one condition is what values are here, you need to have those values. You have those values here and it can be in any order. So this is one ordering, this is another ordering. You have n factorial such orderings that you can have for an array of size n. So we are given an array, we are allowed to change it to any permutation of itself, and we are supposed to maximize the sum a1 minus a2 plus a3 minus a4 plus an minus 1 minus an. Here mod x denotes the absolute value of x. So this denotes the absolute value. We need to print the maximum sum that is achievable. Let's look at a few sample cases. In this sample case, we have n is 4 and we have this. So basically one approach, one brute force approach may be to just, try out all the n factorial permutations. In this case, because n is 4, you might even get away with it because it's just 24 permutations that you have to check. And for every permutation, we will check a1 minus a2 plus a3 minus a4. This is a mod operation, and we'll do a1 minus a2 plus a3 minus a4 for every one of the n factorial permutation, and finally we'll have a max counter or max variable that keeps track of this max sum per permutation, so that after you process the 24 permutation you have the maximum. But this is of course n factorial and it is very bad, and it time limit exceeded. If you time limit exceeded and won't pass the constraints. So better approach may be to sort the array. Let us sort this array. What do we get? We have minus 3, 1 and 2. So this is the sorted version of the array, right? Now after we sort the array, let us write one permutation of this array. Basically one permutation of this array might be this. And if we have this permutation of this particular array, what is our sum? Our sum is minus 3 minus 2 denoting a1 minus a2, and then plus we have a3 minus a4, mod of a3 minus a4. a3 is minus 3 and a4 is 1. So in this case we have minus 5 plus minus 4, that translates into 5 plus 4 because of the modulus operator, resulting in 9. 9 is the maximum achievable sum that you will get, and you can try out every permutation and you can verify this fact. But I want you to pause the video and try to find out what I did here in order to arrive at the maximum sum. I gave you a hint by telling you that we need to sort the array. Now after we sort the array, like what did I do here basically? What operation or what did I do here to get to this optimal permutation where I have the maximum achievable sum? This is a question for you. Try this before going to the next part of the solution. Now let's look at the approach. Now the approach what we need to do here is basically we are given an array of n integers a1, a2, a3 up to an. Now we are telling that we are sorting the array now. After sorting the array, we are ending up with an array, let's say a1 dash, a2 dash, a3 dash up to an dash. Now in order to find the maximum achievable sum, we need to pair from the opposite ends. Basically, we will pair the first minimum, which is a1 in a sorted array, with the first maximum, that is an. Then we will pair the second minimum with the from last second maximum, which is the second minimum, the second max element, like this. So basically, if we have an array of let's say 6 integers, a3, a4, a5 and a6, we will pair a1 with a6, a2 with a5, a3 with a4 in order to get the maximum achievable sum. So our sum will actually be a1 dash minus a6 dash plus a2 dash minus a5 dash plus a3 dash minus a4 dash. Because we have n is guaranteed to be even, which means that the remainder when divided by 2, n will be 0. When n is divided by 2, it will have a remainder of 0. Because this is guaranteed, we can have a left pointer and a right pointer. The left pointer will start from 1 and the right pointer will start from n. We will write sum equal to sum plus, mod of left minus right, because left is 1 denotes 1 and right denotes n, which in this case 6. Then we will increment the left pointer so that now it points to a2, and we will decrement the right pointer so that it points to n minus 1, which in this case is 5. So we do this and we will get n by 2 pairs, and then we will add this to get the maximum possible sum. So in order to get the maximum possible sum, we will first sort the array to get the sorted array. Then what we will do is we will pair the minimum element with the maximum element, the second maximum element, the second minimum element, so on and so forth to get the maximum sum. Now basically what permutation does this constitute? Basically after sorting the array, if a1, a2, a3 dash, an dash denote the sorted array, this permutation is basically a1 dash, then a6 dash, then a2 dash, then a5 dash, then we have a3 dash, and then we have a4 dash. Basically this is the optimal permutation, because if you see in the question, it asks you to find out mod of a1 minus a2 plus mod of a3 minus a4 plus mod of a5 minus a6. Now for any n is generalized, but I'm just taking a small value of n so that we can look at it. So here when we have this small value of n, which is 6, we have a1 dash minus a6 dash, which is what I wrote here, plus a2 dash minus a5 dash, which is what I wrote here, plus a3 dash minus a4 dash, which is what I wrote here. So basically in order to get the maximal sum achievable, we will sort the array and we will start summing up from opposite ends. This is the best sum. We can try multiple cases and we can prove that the maximal sum here in this way can be achieved by pairing up opposite ends of the sorted array like this. So this is 1, a1 minus a6 is 1, then a2 minus a5 and a3 minus a4, and this is the maximum possible sum. We will implement it using the left and right pointers, and then incrementing left pointer, decrementing left pointer, incrementing left pointer, decrementing right pointer. So what is the stopping condition for left and right? This is a question to you. Pause for a second and find out. Yes, the stopping condition will be as long as left is less than right, continue the process. Once left crosses right, just stop the process, don't do it anymore. Now a follow-up question to you is, given an array which is unsorted, I mean you can sort it if you want, but given an array which is unsorted, how to find out the minimum possible sum, minimum possible pair difference? So this is the follow-up question to you. Can you pause the video and also try to find out the minimum possible pair difference in an array that is unsorted? For example, if I have an array 1, 3, 5, for example, I'm giving you an easy test case. Let's say 7. Okay. In this test case, one possible pair with the minimum difference will be 1, 3, and other possible pair with the minimum difference can be 3, 5 and 5, 7. Basically, in this case, the pair difference is 2. Absolute difference between the elements. Absolute difference between the elements is 2, and absolute difference between the elements is 2. So basically here, given this array, the minimum possible pair difference is 2, and you have 3 pairs which have that 2 as the pair difference. 1, 3 is one pair, 3, 5 is another pair, and 5, 7 is another pair. Now basically why I'm giving you this follow-up question is because this approach of having an unsorted array, then you sort it where you find patterns in order to solve the problem, is very common in these type of problems. So good luck with it. Now let us look at the code for the approach that we have just discussed. In this approach, after taking the number of test cases t as input, we are inputting the array. After we input array, we are sorting the array. Basically in C++, you can sort an array by passing the pointers to the starting and end of the subarray that you want to sort. In this case, because we have an array that is one index, we are going to sort starting from the first element till the last element. That is why instead of having sort of arr, arr of plus n, we are having sort of arr plus 1 denoting the index element at index 1 till arr plus n plus 1, which basically denotes the n plus 1 index or the nth element in this case. So 1 to n we need to sort. Then we have a left and a right pointer, and then we have left as 1 and right as n. We have a variable answer that stores the answer by computing the absolute differences and adding it so far. So we have a left and right pointer. As discussed, we will keep going by left is less than right. We are doing answer plus equal to absolute value of ARR of left minus ARR of right. Now question to you is this absolute value necessary? Is this function ABS necessary in this case? If not, like how will you rewrite it? Then we are incrementing the left pointer and decrementing the right pointer. Basically, we start from the left and the right ends. We compute their absolute difference and then we increment left and decrement right. Increment left, decrement right. So on and so forth. And finally, we print the answer. This was a C++ code. Now, if we look at the same Python code here, what we do is we have n and then we are sorting this, we are accepting inputting the ARR array, and then basically why do we typecast this to a list here, whereas in other problems we just iterate through and we don't typecast it. Basically is we want to use the sort function that is not normally available to map items basically. So in order to use the sort function here, yeah, in order to, like, it's easier to use a sort function if you have a list available to you. So for this purpose, what we're doing is first we are taking the input, we are splitting it based on the default delimiter, which is space. They are typecasting every one of the splitted integers into int, and then what we do is we convert the whole thing into a list. After we convert ARR into a list, we basically sort the list using the sort function. We do ARR.sort and we specify reverse is false. If you want a descended array, we can write reverse is, it's your wish. Basically, if you want a descended array or an ascending array, I'm okay with the default reverse is false normal array. After that, what I'm going to do is I'm having same pointers left and right, but in this case, instead of one indexing, I followed zero indexing, where my starting index is zero, ending index is n minus one. So my left is zero, right is n minus one. By left is less than right, I do answer equal to answer plus ARR of right minus ARR of left. So the follow-up question what I asked you was ABS necessary? No, because you know while left is less than right, the element on the right side will always be greater than the element on the left side, because that is a property of a sorted array. We are incrementing left and decrementing right. Finally, we print the answer, maximum answer. Hope this part is clear. Hey guys, that was it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you haven't yet done this, this is a gentle reminder to hit that subscribe button. If you're interested in competitive programming and data structures, this channel is a one-stop solution for you. See you in the next video. Bye.